Good afternoon, everyone. I am so excited this afternoon. I'm doing my first interview for the runoff election. I may be doing a couple more, but this afternoon I am interviewing Martin Raxton. He's in the runoff for Douglas County Commissioner 3, District 3. Uh, Martin, can you introduce yourself to the watchers, the listeners, and just let them know just a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. Well, again, Karen, good afternoon, and good afternoon to all our listeners. This is Martin Raxton coming to you live in beautiful District 3 of Douglas County, Georgia. I am a 28-year resident of District 3 and tax-paying resident of District 3. I have raised two sons that have attended the public schools here in this beautiful county. I have over 25 years of IT program and portfolio management experience, but I also have a passion for government. And I started my career in government, in housing and community development, Public
Wow.
Housing Authority, and the IRS. And I've served on several boards here in the city of Douglasville as well as in Douglas County. So I love this community. I have a passion for the community. And it's great to be here this afternoon to learn more about myself and why I'm running for County Commissioner for District 3.
Oh, wow. I love that introduction, Martin. I really do. So, what inspired you to run for county commissioner?
The opportunity to run for County Commissioner was presented when the current County Commissioner, Terenia Carthorne, decided to step down and to run for chair of Douglas County. To
Right.
give you a little background about myself, I am a past Democratic Party chairman here in Douglas County, and I served in the early 2000s. And I've just
Hmm.
been so proud of some of the great progress that our leaders and our electors have made and have stayed very close with them. And when this
Yes, yes.
opportunity came up, it was like, hey, this is an opportunity for me to get into this arena. And based on my experience working with electeds across the country and statewide, my servant leadership and public policies that I would love to have implemented here in District 3 and countywide, I thought it would be great at this time to run for this opportunity and to seek the candidacy for County Commissioner for District 3. Thus, when Commissioner Carthon resigned, I
Hmm.
immediately went and registered, and I'm glad to be a part of this election process.
Wow, wow, that's wonderful. So when you get elected, when you win this runoff election, what are your top three priorities once you're elected?
So, some of the priorities that I have, and the top three I would say is one, when I walk and go out in the community, District 3 is tired of the Waffle Houses, tired of car washes, tired of Dollar Generals, tired of the package stores, tired of QT gas stations coming into this community. So one of the things I want to do is to ensure that we maintain the economic viability and stability of
Yeah.
District 3. District 3 is
Yes.
the housing stock of Douglas County. And we have more single family rooftops than any other community in any other district in Douglas County. So I want to
Wow.
ensure that any type of development that comes or would like to come into Douglas County will be of standard, will be of quality, and will be something that the community embraces. And one of
Yes.
the things, Karen, that we have in District 3 and countywide is a food desert. So I would love to ensure that we bring in a Whole Foods or a Sprouts or a Trader Joe's to
Yes.
address some of those issues and opportunities that I see, even myself, when I'm looking to buy some of the fresh products for my own mentality and for my own development. So that's one thing that I want to ensure that we take into consideration what the residents have said and what they want to ensure comes into District 3.
I totally
Secondly,
agree.
absolutely. So, secondly, we want to ensure that public safety is maintained, and we want to work
Right.
very closely with our law enforcement, be it with the city law or with the county sheriff's office, and ensure that we have maintained good, quiet communities and neighborhoods, and that visibility is here. and that the
Yes.
community and the residents feel safe and that they can continue to go outside like we're currently doing, and to expand that to ensure that residents truly love to get out and love to be a
Yeah.
part of this vibrant community, and to work on some opportunities with our youth. And
Yes.
that's one thing that you hear about. Oh, we have maybe a juvenile delinquency problem. Well, I
Right.
say maybe there's a parental delinquency opportunity. So looking at the
I
whole
agree.
family, working with our law enforcement, and coming up with some even new and creative, innovative ideas to ensure that the family is intact and that we're doing some great things with our family and our residents, not only in District 3, but certainly across Douglas County as a whole. And then
Wow.
third, I would say another top priority is to ensure that our community service boards and our social service organization agencies are properly funded at the levels that they deserve. Right now, there's been some drastic cuts in many of our social service and community service areas and departments, and we have to stem that tide. We have to
I
ensure
agree.
that not only the youth, but also the community at whole feels that the services that they need is right here in beautiful Douglas County. And along with that, I would love to see if there's an opportunity to bring a Veterans Administration satellite office here. And we owe
That
a
would be
debt of
wonderful.
gratitude to our veterans. So they have to travel a great deal now to have services administered. And that's something that I hear quite often. I would love to look into that and see if that's an opportunity when we're talking about the family, when we're talking about the community fiber, that we can also expand and to grow and to provide here under my administration, working in that leadership role to bring a Veterans Affairs satellite office, in addition to what we said as far as bracing and showing up the community services that we need here in District 3.
I totally agree. I love everything that you said. Um, and sometimes I know the whole county cannot vote for you in District 3. I live in District 2.
Okay.
So but one thing that I do realize is the importance of all of the commissioners. So just because I live in District 2 doesn't mean that I don't see any importance in who's running for District 3. You know what I mean? Now that I understand so much more
Yeah.
about politics and how things are really run, and I realize that all of you have to vote on certain policies and procedures, and all of you have a say in what's going to happen in Douglas County as a whole. So we all need to be in tune to every single election, local election going on, whether it's District 1, 2, 3, or 4. We need to know. We need to know and be in tune with who's running and what they stand for. So, how do you plan on involving the residents of District 3? How do you plan on involving them in your decision making? How do you plan on communicating with them when different things are on the table, just to get their views and understanding of what's going on? And how do you plan on communicating what's going on in the commissioner's office and what's going on there to the community that you soon will be serving?
Well, great question. And I just want to piggyback on something you said earlier in regards to working with the other commissioners. Working here on the Planning and Zoning Board, I was the chair of that. So, of course, as
Wow.
the chair, you have to understand what are some of the initiatives and some of the top of mind items, not only for the board itself, but also for the city mayor and council. So having
Yeah.
that input and being able to work across the aisles, as we said, working with the various organizations and leaders, we were very successful. And I can count on less than one hand the times that we did not have a unified vote on variance requests that came forth to the board from the developers that was seeking to get variances and zoning changes while I was in that role as chairman of the Planning and Zoning Board for the city of Douglasville. And conversely, I also served most recently as the vice chair of the Board of Assessors. In the Board of
Wow.
Assessors, we had a 5-member board, and each member is appointed by a county commissioner. So here again, you have to work across the aisle and to ensure that we're carrying out the best interests of our community and the residents and what we're charged with doing, regardless of partisan politics, and ensuring that we're doing things in the best light of our community. So with that
That's
said, I would also share that when we talk about how do we inform the community, how do we share what we're doing from the county commission? One of the things that I'm learning is that I really think we need to have what I call a civics 101, where we pick maybe a Saturday and maybe we do it every 2 months, every 3 months, but we just bring it to the community and have a community forum where we bring the different department heads and talk about local government.
yes.
A lot of individuals like to hear, a lot of residents want to know, well, what is it that I'm paying my taxes for? You're paying six,
Yeah.
seven, $8,000 a year in property taxes. So what are the services that you're getting for your money? So I want to ensure that the community hears that and knows firsthand where are your property taxes going to, and to have those leaders and those department heads to come to the community and share with them, this is where your funds are being allocated. And
That's
with
very
that,
important.
it's very important. And with that, just a basic understanding of what the county's governance is. How's it structured? What is our jurisdiction? What do we mandate? What do we have policy over? And to
Yes.
ensure that our community is informed so they know the difference between the city of Douglasville government versus Douglas County, and how we differ and some things that we do in a government and some public-private partnerships that we have from a county's perspective. So
I agree.
having those town hall meetings, as well as one of the things that even going around and talking to the residents about voting, a lot of people are not aware that we have a runoff now. Have no
Oh, no,
clue.
you're right. No
So
clue. They, a
no
lot
clue.
of a lot of people didn't even know about the election, the local election itself. Like people, I don't know how we can different ways we can reach people, but that needs to be fixed definitely.
Yeah,
Just the whole importance of the election itself and getting
yeah,
people involved and knowing who's running for what is very
yes,
important,
yes.
and just informing the people and educating the people on the importance of this election itself.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I would love to see is that we start text. We have text messaging that I would say the vast majority of our community have phones and they're going to read their text messages. And
Oh
a lot
yeah.
of communication now is being shared out either in the Chapel Hill News and Views or the Sentinel or through email. But we just simply
Mhm.
sent text messages out to the residents and to the community. That is an immediate and a great way of communicating things. And that's something that I would plan to do under my administration, is to really work with the communications and to make sure that we're texting messages, we're texting updates, and we're getting it shared out to our residents so that they're hearing it firsthand. So
Yeah.
that's another initiatives that I would like to see. And then lastly, I have the same email address. I have the same cell number. I've had it for over 30 years. I walk in the community. I'm out usually walking 2 hours a day. So I'm very accessible. I have a transparent mentality, and I want the
Hmm.
residents to hear things firsthand from me, and versus I want to hear from them as well. So it has to be a two-way communication. So I'm ensuring that I'm staying in line with those constituents that will put me into this great office.
Yes, I love that. I think communication is key, and you have some great ideas, especially with that text message thing. Everybody has a phone, so
Yes,
text messaging and social media. I think those two combined can definitely increase people's knowledge about what's going on, and just communicating what's going on in your office and administration, and as it relates to the community. So one other question is, how will you address the needs of the underrepresented and marginalized communities in our county as a whole?
so one of the things that I am a part of, outside of just working and outside of government, is that I believe in ensuring that we have board readiness. And one of the organizations that I work with is called Stakeholder Impact Foundation. And what
Hmm.
we're geared to do is to ensure that we're setting the corporate board tables with representation from the unserved and underserved communities across the country. So we have a very structured organization and our corporate board readiness program that's about 5 to 6 months where we take individuals through what does it mean to sit on a board.
Wow.
Conversely to that, I also run a political action committee. As part of the political action committee's charge is that we want to see that women and minorities are elected on the local, the state, and the federal levels in the United States. And what studies have shown time and time again is when you have a diverse board, those organizations are more profitable and they serve the community better. So
Mm,
I want to ensure that under my jurisdiction and administration, that our board is reflective of Douglas County and our residents. And one of the
absolutely.
things that you will find now, you can go out to Arbor Place Mall, you can go to Douglas County government, and the majority of the employees do not even live in Douglas County. They're not even residents. So
The
we need to
employees,
ensure, I'm sorry?
so the employees,
Yes, the vast
wow.
majority of the employees you will find are not Douglas County residents. So one of the things I want to ensure is we need to address that. And one of the ways
Yes.
we address that is that we ensure that we provide livable wages for our community so they don't have to go to Atlanta, they don't have to go to Cobb County and Gwinnett County, DeKalb County to work, but they can stay here in Douglasville, live and work and also play right in this very community.
I agree. I agree. That kind of just threw me right off. Like when you said that the employees that work for Douglas County, most of them don't live in Douglas County.
Yeah.
That's disheartening because we have so many talented professionals that live right here in Douglas County that I know would love to work, right here at home, especially not needing to get on I-20. And
Mhm.
just it just brings me back to mind of a professional that just got a job way in Alpharetta, and she's been living in Douglas County, raised her kids here, and she wanted to get back into the workforce, and she had to get a job way across town. Now she travels an hour and a half to get to work, and she's so talented. And I was like, man, all of these new buildings and companies coming to Douglas County.
Mhm.
Too bad she couldn't have got something here, but do you think there's a specific reason that most of the employees don't live here? Do you think there's some kind of underlying, I'm not sure even what could be the reason to that?
Sure. So there's several parts to that, and let's unpack that for a few minutes. So
Okay.
I think there has been a segment of the community that wants to keep Douglas County a certain way. They want to keep it a sleeping, what I call Mayberry RFD.
Hmm.
But that is not reflective of what we have here in 2024. So that's one thing that we need to address. Secondly, the type of economic development, the type of private sector companies that's coming into Douglas County, we got
Hmm.
to ensure that they're going to bring fair and equitable wages to the
True.
community. And I want to ensure that they're hiring our community and our residents here in Douglas County. And
Yeah.
let's not say we're going to bring in 1,000 jobs, but 750 of them are going to individuals outside of our community. So we
Yeah.
need to address that. And then third, again, when we're talking about the types of jobs that we're bringing in, I would love to bring in some more of the IT, high tech, more of the high growth industries such as AI, cybersecurity, those industries that will attract your $80,000 starting salaries so we can ensure that the residents don't have to look any further, but right here in their own backyard, and that they are being incentivized for staying here in the community, working and living here and raising their family in Douglas County. And we want to also, with that, attract some very nice establishments. Why can't we have an Atlantic Station here or an Avalon here? We have the land.
We
So
have
let's
it.
look at public-private partnerships where you have mixed-use development for retail, for housing, etc., that's going to bring in and make Douglasville a destination community. And that's
Yes,
something, again, that having the right leadership on the board at the county level will help to drive those types of decisions and to expand this community and what it really deserves to be.
I totally agree. And from what I understood or I thought, that whole Lee Road extension, I think that's what they're planning on doing with that, or is that
Yes, they are.
unknown?
Go ahead.
Okay, so
Yeah,
give
I know that
again.
they are doing some expansion to Lee Road, and I know there's going to be a segment, and I have not physically seen that development and how it's going to end up and look, but there is some expansion, and I know it's going to come into Chapel Hill, and there's also going to be some Chapel Hill Road expansion as well that's going to be coming here as well. So again,
Wow.
I do know that those two are definitely in the makings and have been approved. But we have some other things, and one of the things that I would like to assure that we have new development, that we hold those developers' feet to the fire. And if they need to put in turning lanes, they need to put in sidewalks, they need to put in the lighting. Those are public safety issues, and we cannot release a certificate of ownership and occupancy until those things are completed to the fullness of the contracts.
Just a second, Mark. 1 second. Okay, go ahead.
No, so I was just saying, we as county commissioners, we're going to have to ensure, and we'll work with our procurement department, our purchasing department, to look at those contracts and to ensure that these developers' feet are held to the fire and they're doing everything to the letter on what's in those contracts before they receive a certificate of ownership and occupancy.
I totally agree because we see all these new things going on and all these great developments and these buildings, and but we're driving right past them and we got to go across town to go to work when we could be right here. I know, like, you see the new studio coming up, and you see
Yeah.
all these buildings on Riverside, and in my mind I'm thinking, wow, maybe somebody's husband could get a job at one of these warehouses, and hopefully they are, doing what they said they would do for Douglas County in return of all this traffic and all these different things going on, that we have to deal with, and hopefully they are, and prayerfully, our commissioners will hold them accountable to that. But I mean, is there anything else you wanted to say to the community today? Anything you wanted to share that was on your heart?
Well, sure. And again, I really appreciate the opportunity to speak my heart to the community. Again, as a 27-year resident, soon to be 28 years, I think within the next day or so, as a taxpayer, I also share those same values. I also share those same concerns. And I want to ensure that we provide fairness and equity and inclusion in this beautiful community. And I am a leader that I find things and then I make sure that when I leave, they're better. And based on
That's
my
wonderful.
professional and public experience, based on my leadership experience, and I didn't even talk about nonprofits that I also am on the board of or that I'm the president of and have helped to get started to work with our youth. There's a
Yeah,
nonprofit
that's key.
called
That's
Breaking the
key.
Change,
Hmm.
here in Atlanta where we work with at-risk youth. There's a nonprofit I helped start called the Delta Pi Foundation, which gives funds, and we raise funds for our undergraduate young males that are going through and matriculating at Michigan State. And there's other initiatives that are so important that I believe in giving back. And this is an opportunity to give back to the community and to the public. And also, I will also share is that I work very closely with state electeds and federal elected officials.
That's
And
good.
as you know, funds come down from the federal government to the state, but we got to make sure that the state gets it down to the municipalities. And
Right.
so having those
Into Douglas County.
relationships is important. And it's, a lot of this is relationships. So having the relationships with our state representatives, our state senators, the state delegates, understanding that what are important to our residents and to our community, those are relationships that we could leverage and to utilize to benefit the greater good of our community here and our residents here. And I so have much enjoyed meeting new residents, meeting residents that's been here 25, 30 years like myself, and hearing their concerns. And I
Yeah,
share so many of those same concerns. And I know, and you can look at me, that day one, I'm going to be able to go. I'm going to be able to execute and implement with excellence. And I also ask you to hold me accountable. That any
well,
promise,
that's
anything
wonderful.
that I'm saying that I want to ensure that I'm going to make sure that happens, also hold me accountable to ensure that I'm delivering what I'm promising. So
That's
I
wonderful.
think certainly you're getting a great package here. I am someone who would love to serve this community, would love to work with the electeds on the county board of commissioners and the department heads and the other leaders here in Douglas County. And I'm ready to go day one. So if
Well,
elected,
that's
I
wonderful.
will not fail you. In Douglas County, we deserve better.
That's wonderful. I'm just so glad you took the time to talk to me today and just speak your heart on the community and what you value and what you want, the change that you want to see and how you're going to implement it. I think it's very important that you've been in this community for a long time, so you know and understand the residents' concerns because they're your
Yeah.
concerns as well. So I just appreciate you taking the time to talk to me today. Hopefully we can get enough people to view this so they can see who Mark is and what he stands for so they can make an educated vote on this runoff election. All right. Thank you so much, Mark. You have a wonderful day. And if you need anything from me, just let me know and I'll try to help you the best I can.
All right. Well, again, community, please go out and vote. Early voting has started. It will go to the 14th, which is this Friday at the county courthouse, and then next Tuesday, the 18th, at your regular voting precinct. So
Yep.
please come out, let your vote and voice be heard. And again, Martin Raxton, candidate, county commissioner, District 3. Please have
District
a
3.
blessed day.
All right. You too, Mark. Bye,
All right.
everybody.
Bye bye.